Imagine waking up tomorrow, and every Nigerian suddenly has a superpower. Not some small superpower either. I'm talking flying, super strength, teleportation, the ability to control fire. It didn't take long for the entire country to realize everything had changed. There were no manuals, no mentors, just millions of us trying not to blow ourselves up. Would Nigerians finally unite? Would we use our powers to end hunger, chase villains out of people's homes, or finally overthrow the government? Honestly, none of those would happen first. The first few months would be absolute chaos. Because the moment people realized nobody could stop them, somebody would test the limits. Banks would get robbed by invisible people. Rich people's houses would mysteriously empty overnight. Somebody with super strength would probably walk into a police station and say, "What exactly are you going to do about it?" And don't even get me started on social media. Nigerians would spend the first week arguing about which power is the best. Somebody would be flying through Lagos traffic, while everyone else is stuck on Third Mainland Bridge. Another person would teleport into work every morning and still somehow arrive late. But eventually, the serious problems would start. You'd think everyone would finally put their differences aside and use these powers to rebuild the country? You'd be wrong. Nigeria probably wouldn't become one giant superhero team. It would start splitting along the same political and regional lines that already exist. Some would start demanding independence. Others would refuse. And suddenly, the idea of another civil war wouldn't sound impossible anymore. Except this time, everyone has superpowers. And then something else would change. Social rules. People who had spent their entire lives being told they were powerless suddenly wouldn't be. Women who had been forced to accept things like child marriage or abusive traditions could literally walk away. Someone tries to force you into a marriage? Teleport. Someone tries to intimidate you? Super strength. Someone says, "That's just how things have always been." Well, things have changed. And religion? That would get complicated too. Imagine being told your entire life that humans are powerless, then waking up one morning and discovering you can move a car with your mind. Some people would probably question everything, looking for answers where there might not be any. Churches would have to deal with people asking questions they'd never had to answer before. Others would become even more religious, believing God gave them these miraculous powers for a reason. So no, faith wouldn't disappear. It would just become one of the biggest debates in the country. And after all the chaos, something strange might happen. People would eventually realize something. Superpowers don't automatically make you better people. They just make you more powerful versions of who you already were. The violent become more dangerous. But the doctors become more capable. The engineers become more capable. The farmers become more capable. The people building things become almost unstoppable. Imagine an engineer who can lift a bridge by himself. A farmer who can control the weather. Emergency workers who can teleport into disaster zones. Soldiers who can actually see through walls. And eventually, people might stop asking, "What can my power do for me?" and start asking, "What can we build with it?" Maybe 10 years later, Nigeria isn't perfect. There are still arguments, still politics, still corruption. Because we're still Nigerians. But the country might finally start changing. Not because everyone suddenly became good, but because people finally learned that having power doesn't mean much if you don't know what to do with it. And honestly, if Nigerians really got powers tomorrow, I don't think the biggest question would be, what power did you get? It would be, how can it help?